Hey YouTubers, it's Saturday and it's Better Living with Patti, and I have some ideas on diabetes. I told you I would talk to you about diabetes. I am a type 2 diabetic, but they've come out with a new thing and it's fairly recent. I'm a type 2, but they consider me type 1.5 because I now take insulin for 3 times a day to regulate my diabetes, but it's still high. For the last 2 days, I've reached numbers over 400, and by all accounts, I should be in a coma by then. But I'm eating right, and something's wrong. My body's under stress somehow, and I don't know what it is. So we're going to go over living with diabetes, okay? And I'm going with this pamphlet. It's not me. It's this pamphlet, okay? It's from the National Diabetes Association. So I'm just going to do a quick rundown and tell you the products I use and some things that I do. Okay, but okay. Living well with diabetes. Millions of Americans live a healthy lives with diabetes. If you have diabetes, managing it is not always that easy, but the effects are worth it. It gives you a better health and a better future. Self-care gives you the power in the management of diabetes and makes you feel the best. The thing I find out with diabetes is you could look fine. Like I look fine today. I mean, but no one would know that my sugars are 420 right now. And, so that's the thing with diabetes. It's a silent disease. People say, oh, you got diabetes, but you look healthy. There's nothing wrong with you. No, well, yeah, there's something wrong with us. Our body can't digest the insulin in your body, or we make too much of it. So, of course, you're going to be a little either hyper, or we'll go over all of that. But, so why is managing diabetes important? Well, diabetes causes problems with levels of blood sugars, glucose, in your body. Over time, high blood sugars levels can damage the blood vessels and nerve endings. And I can attest to that right now because my sugar's been high. I'm having trouble with my feet. They're starting to go numb and I can't feel them, or they're very painful. You can never understand. My uncle had type 1 diabetes, and he always said, he'd say his wife's name, they feel like rocks. My feet just feel like rocks. And they do. You can't move them because they're so heavy and they hurt so bad that, I don't know what a rock feels like, but they hurt. I mean, people don't understand the problem with diabetes. And they have a lot of things out now for your feet. They have creams, they have diabetic socks, they have diabetic shoes. And the diabetic shoes, I was looking online because I'm seriously thinking about getting a pair. They don't look like the old-fashioned ones like they did a couple years back. Oh, that guy's got something wrong with his feet. They look funny. They're quite nice. There's a couple brands like New Balance. They make a diabetic shoe or sneaker. So it's not just the old-fashioned strip, that you see people have it with it, and you see them and you're like, oh, they got diabetic shoes. But they've made them really nice, and they're not that expensive. I thought they would be like $200-300. I'm looking at this company, and if I get them and they fit well, I'll reference it to you. They're about $89 to $103, which with shipping, that's not bad. So, we'll just see how it goes. And they also sell the socks. And they also sell, what they're finding out with the feet, which I'm having problems with. They also found out if you put a support hose just on your feet to the ankle, it helps the numbness. But we'll go over that. Okay, so high blood sugars can affect your kidneys, your eyes, your sex organs, and it could also increase your for a heart attack, stroke, blindness, feet problems, where we just talked about, and gum problems, gum disease. The goal for self-care, you have to manage your own diabetes, and you have to respond to the, you have to know the symptoms of high and low blood sugars. And you have to know your limitations for your health problems in the future. And so what I do, I have two ways of testing. My insurance will only pay for the One Touch Ultra. And I don't know why they do that, because the tester was like $40. It was $39.99. I had one laying around, so I did not have a script for that. I just used the old one. And if you call them on the back of them, I have it in my box here and I can't reach it. But if you call the number on the back of your tester and tell them it's not working, they will either send you a new tester out, or they'll tell you, or they'll give you a gift certificate for a new tester. So that's really good. And these, my insurance pays 100% of this. So I get $100 a month. It's not a lot, because that only gives you enough to test. Thank you, my assistant. I bought this little box at Walmart about 7 years ago, or 8 years ago. It's wonderful, because you can keep, see, this is my little tester. And on the back of it, it gives you, if you can read that, because that's the first thing that goes when you have diabetes, there's a 1-800 number there. And they will either tell you what's wrong with how you can get this fixed with someone around the area, or they will immediately send you out a new tester, which I think is nice. I also have this one from Publix, because I was buying my own test strips. They were a little expensive. This is expensive. This was about $70, but the test strips are probably about, I think it was $15.99 for 100. Your best deal, if you don't have insurance, or whatever your insurance will pay for, but your best deal is to go to Walmart. I don't like to plug Walmart, but Walmart has a tester. It's called Rely On. The tester is only about, back when I bought it was $15.99. It could be $20, so don't quote me. And the test strips, which are still cheap, 50 of them are $5 and 100 of them are $10. So, you know, we should really be testing. I would not have known that I had high sugars if I didn't test more often than, I only test twice a day now, because I'll tell you why. I purchased my own Freestyle Liberator, and it continually tests your blood sugar, which I like, because this little thing here, called this thing, and the patch for 2 patches, and this thing cost me the initial price was $135. Yes, it was a lot of money. It would have been more. I had a coupon from Liberator that gave me a discount. I'm trying to get my tester here paid for by them. You have to go online and you fill out paperwork, and your doctor fills it out and you send it back. And the only problem I have with that is it's sent to the doctor's office. I don't know why they do that, but that's the way it's done. So this lasts 14 days. You get 2 a month. After you initially pay for this, you buy 2 of these a month. I get them discounted at, each one of them is $32.95. So it comes out to about, with tax and everything, it's about it's like $73 or something like that. But they're good for 15 days. And they're continuous. Like, you can zap this, like right now. Like, I could be in a store and I feel like my sugar has come down today. It was 490. It's now down to 252. And it gives you a readout, and it tells you, and if you are high or low, it will beep. It's like a little siren. It goes beep, 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 and you know, to test your blood sugar, because it's either high or low. I've had instances where I went to bed and my blood sugar was 380. About 3 o'clock in the morning, it nosedived down to 50. The little machine beep told me, you know, so I would come out and get I always have, this night I didn't, I usually have a little candy bar, Hershey candy bar, or something that'll boost my sugar right up, or I usually keep orange juice in the house. But this night, for some reason, I had nothing. So I had to drink, I had to take those little Diabetic tablets. They're not bad tasting, but you take one. They're pretty good size, about the size of a quarter. I took one, then you wait 15 minutes, test your blood sugar, then you take another one if it's still low, and so on and so on. But you know, I got it up to about 70, and that's as high as I could get it that night. So I went back to sleep, and I said a little prayer. I said, God, please, you know, keep me in the norm with the blood sugar tonight. So that's how that went. And monitoring your blood sugar, we just went over that. You can never tell if you have a high or low blood sugar. You know, what is a target range? My nutritionist says to keep it at 100. My doctor wants it below that. She wants my blood sugar to go down to about 80 in the morning, and then about 110 at night. My nutritionist says she's happy with 100 in the morning and about 150 at night. She said, you know, so it's who you go to, what your doctor recommends, and how you feel you can tolerate. I used to be down to 80s in the mornings. I don't think I could tolerate 80s no more, you know, with everything else. So you really have to know the symptoms of high or low blood sugar. Low blood sugar, for me, I have massive sweats, and they're cold sweats. They're not like when you're going through menopause. These are cold sweats, and you feel like your heart is in your throat, and you just feel like you're gonna pass out. You need to get something sugary in your body. And I tell a lot of people, because I used to run a diabetic club, and I used to tell a lot of my people that come, the support group, that if you pass out, make sure you have, and I don't have it right now, but make sure you have in your refrigerator, you know those little, they're about 2 ounces of icing that you write your name on it for birthdays or whatever. That little bit of icing is 2 ounces. I tell them, make sure you keep that in your refrigerator, because you might pass out, and you don't want somebody to shoot anything down your throat that's liquidy, or try to get a candy bar in your mouth. What you do is just take that. They take that, and they, on the inside of the gum, they squish it, the 2 ounces in there, and then just rub it, and then call 911. Because if you pass out, make sure the paramedics are on their way. Even doing that trick, because something, you know, the doctors and nurses at the hospital can bring you to, but if this works, fine. Then you're awake and you say to the paramedics, no, my blood sugar's up there, I don't need to go. It's your call. But if you're passed out, you tell them where it is in the refrigerator or in the cupboard, wherever you want to keep it. What I would do is buy one of these little kits at Walmart. They're really small. They were in the drugstore aisle, you know, health and beauty aids. And I would keep that in there because, you know, you never know. And especially with me now, I'm taking insulin, you just never know. Now you got to remember your daily routine. Now you should check your blood sugars. If you're not on insulin, you should test your blood sugars at least twice a day. And I used to test my blood sugar in the morning and then before I went to bed. And then if I felt funny during the day, like with high blood sugars, I'm just a crab, and I just don't feel right. I get dizzy. I feel like I'm gonna pass out with high blood sugars. And so with that, I go and test my blood sugars. You know your body. You know if it's gonna get low or if it's gonna get high, and you know what triggers high blood sugars. My downfall is I used to eat a lot of pasta, so that made my sugars go up. The doctors tell me that my body is stressed due to the fact that I had that surgery 4 years ago. It's still trying to mend from that. So, you know, they have, you know, so you have to understand why your sugars are high. Okay, now you do your daily, you log it. You make sure you have a log. I have a notebook, or not a notebook, a little, they sell, I found that it's easier to buy a journal and then write down your blood sugars. And put down the time that you do it, because Everybody doesn't wake up at the same time all the time, and like 6:10, or you go to bed, sometimes you go to bed a little later, midnight or whatever. Write down the times you take your blood sugars, because that's very important to the doctor. And they might say to you, oh, well, can you do it like just before lunch or just before dinner, whatever. They're looking for when your highs are. So, go to Walmart, get the cheaper one. Now, after 3 months, most diabetics know this, you have to go get a blood test every 3 months. And what they're testing for is your A1C. And they're also checking for your kidneys, because a lot of this medicine will affect your kidneys. So they have to, if you're on metformin, they will also check your kidneys, because they want to make sure that the kidney function is still there with the metformin. We'll go over with medicines. But they're testing you for your A1C. Every diabetic knows what A1C is. What they do is, it shows the doctor. You can't lie to the doctor with an A1C. It is precise. It tells you if you've had high blood sugars or low blood sugars in that 3-month period. I was 11.5 6 months ago. I've now gotten it down to 8.9, which is, it doesn't sound like a lot. It is a lot in a diabetic's life. That is like, woohoo, major woohoo. Your A1C, it's testing, how the cells react to your glucose in your body. So that is very important. And how you're getting rid of your glucose, and how your pancreas is working. Well, now we should go on to healthy eating. And this is really, food affects blood sugars in different ways. Now, my aunt, she's 92, going to be 93. She'll always say to me, like, if I'm having something, I haven't had nothing sweet in a long time, but if I had like an ice cream up there or something, she'd say to me, "Hey, that's full of sugar. You're just going to get your sugars high. That's why you have that's why you have diabetes, because you used to eat all that stuff." Or I'd have a little piece of cake. That stuff, yes, does affect your blood sugars, but it doesn't give you diabetes. Okay, so let me clarify that. Yes, it will spike your blood sugars, but it will not give you diabetes. I was diagnosed 15 years ago, 2 weeks after my birthday in January. I was 46 years old, and I went to the eye doctor in December. And he said to me, "Are you a diabetic?" And I said, "No." I said, "I have diabetes on both sides of the family, but I am not a diabetic." He said, "Are you really thirsty?" And I said, "We came down here when our house was being built in Pennsylvania. And let me tell you, we went to Sonny's, and I could drink 3 of those big iced teas they used to give you. 3 of them. And I was so thirsty. I was just dying my mouth felt like it was in cotton. And I said, "Yeah, I'm thirsty a lot." And he said, "Do you eat a lot more than normal?" And I said, "Yeah." And he said, "Are you losing weight?" And I said, "Yeah." And I said, "I can't understand it, because I'm eating triple now, and I should be gaining the weight." So he said to me, "I think you should go to your primary care doctor and have them run." This is back when they said, "Oh, we don't have to do an 8-hour blood sugar. We don't have to do this. They were doing like a 2-hour blood sugar and saying, "Yes, you have diabetes." He said to me, "Do the old-fashioned one, 6 hours, and it'll truly tell you if you have diabetes or not." Well, okay, what you do is, for the first 3 hours, you're fasting. So you want to get these blood sugars done early, the test. So it was like 7, then they did it at 8, and then they took the last one at 9, and they draw blood those 3 times. And then you have a massive breakfast. They want you to go home and have pancakes with syrup. They want you to have eggs. They want you to have bacon. They want you to have what I call an English breakfast. Have toast, the works. So when you go back there at 12 o'clock, 1 o'clock, and 2 o'clock, when they draw the blood, your numbers are going to be, astronomical, probably, which they probably were. So I found out I was a diabetic. The doctor immediately, they put me on metformin, and they said, you got to watch what you eat now. So they put me on a pretty good strict diet. I was allowed 25 grams of carbs then. Now I'm down to 15 grams of carb. And I'll tell you why they lowered my carbs now. So food does affect your blood sugars. Like I said, pasta was I knew, and the funny part of it is, I could eat pasta and my blood sugars wouldn't rise until 2 days later. They'd shoot up. And nobody could understand. They'd say, did you just eat pasta? And my doctor would say, no, I ate it 2 days ago. And my doctor said, it takes 2 days for your body, for me now, anybody else is like a day maybe or so, to hit the mark. So I know if I eat something that I shouldn't, in 2 days my blood sugar is going to be high. I just know that. It's just my body, and that's how my body's always worked. Carbs give you energy, but they also can raise your blood sugar. That's the problem with carbs. Carbs include sugar, starches, and fiber. Sugars are from fruit, milk, honey, and they're added in all different kinds of food anymore. It's just to make things taste better. Just like MSGs in things to make things taste better and last longer. They're in yogurt, they're in cereal, they're in desserts, they're in sugars in a lot of things, and that's why we have to read our labels, because it's a hidden thing. They just they put cane sugar in everything. So you may not think you're eating, you're drinking your iced tea sugar free, or you're using a sugar substitute like monk fruit and stuff like that. Please use either monk fruit or one of the better, like plant-based sugars, because they're linking, they haven't said it, but they're linking these old-fashioned sugar sweeteners, like Equal and the one that was in the yellow little bag, and all of them with dementia. So please, if you use monk fruit, that's the best for that. Starches are also in bread, cereal, like I said, pasta. I love pasta. And dry beans. Starches are also in vegetables. And here's 2 of them that I used to like. And 3 really. They're in corn, peas, and potatoes. They're my 3 week. I could eat an ear of corn. I could eat about 4 ear of corn in delicious Jersey corn. It was like I could demolish 4 of them without even blinking an eye. And now I can't. So it's hard, because there's some things you have to give up, and it's either you give it up or you die, or you have problems later on in life. So, and winter squash, which I found interesting, and that's like acorn squash or butternut squash, and yams have sugar in it already before you even, fats and proteins. Let's go over that a little bit. Fats and proteins do not have much effect on blood sugar, but they do affect your overall health. You have to be very careful choosing a heart-healthy, unsaturated fat, usually. These are found in fish, vegetable oil, avocado oil, some nuts, olive oil, extra virgin olive oil. That avocado oil is really good tasting when you cook something. The only thing is, it's a high heat, so you can cook it in a high, like in the oven or something. Olive oil you can't cook on a high heat, so it's gotta be like a medium. We have a gas stove, so you can't go over 6. It's gotta be a low heat. But the avocado, if you're gonna cook something, can handle the higher heat. And they're very, you have to get used to the taste, but after you get used to them, they're tasty. It's like anything else. When I used to drink hot tea, I have to get used to not drinking it with sugar now. It's like everything else. You have to, pick out your battles. Unlimited unhealthy saturated fats, they come from red meat, whole milk, cream, coconuts, and palm oil. So basically, if you know you're going to have coconut oil, if you're going to cook in coconut oil, just use it's I don't like this when they say this, because coconut oil is better for you than like vegetable oils or sunflower oil or canola oil. So it's kind of like you have to really choose which one you feel comfortable with, so you got to eat lean protein sources, which comes from nuts, tofu, fish, eggs, skinless chicken, low-fat or non-fat dairy products. They're finding out that, margins aren't good for you. So, use the butter sparingly. Don't go crazy with butter. Now, when you go shopping, I know everybody doesn't want to spend 3 hours in a store, ShopRite or Walmart or Publix or Winn-Dixie, or Save-A-Lot or any. Oh, my foot's killing me right now. Or any any more time than you have to. And I understand that, but you have to understand. You have to read the labels. They put those nutrition facts on the back of them for a reason. And for a diabetic, you have to really understand it. A serving size, you gotta look for the serving size, you gotta look for the calories in it, you gotta look for the saturated fats or trans fats, you gotta look for the total carbs. And they will have that all listed, like, usually it's serving first, calories, total fats, cholesterol, you don't have to worry about that, but your carbs. And then they break the carbs down into fiber and sugar. And there's a trick to the carbs. Like, if you have 17 grams of carbs, but there's 3 grams of fiber, you have to subtract the 3 grams of fiber, so that gives you 14 grams of carbs. But you also have 2 grams of sugar, so you got to add 2 more grams to that. So that gives you 14, that would give you back to 16 grams of carbs, which I couldn't eat, because she has me on 15 grams. The reason she has me on 15 grams of carbs is because I take insulin 3 times a day, and they're trying to keep my carbs down because they're feeling that my body can't handle carbs because it has too much glucose, and the body is producing too much glucose. So there's a big word for it, but basically what it is the pancreas is slowly shutting down, and that's why they call it diabetes 1.5 instead of diabetes 1. I don't know. You got to eat a balanced meal, and you take a plate, and you take a, all these plates now are big. They're either 10 or they're 12 inches. What you should do is, for a while, is buy the paper plates, the 8-inch paper plates. That's basically your meal, because when we were growing up, that's what you had, an 8-inch plate. And for some reason, it's like supersized at McDonald's. Let's supersize the dinner plates. So of course you fill up to the rim, and that's either 10 or 12 inches now. So you want to buy an 8-inch paper plate. And then what you could do is, if you want to put it in your plates, you see how much border you have to have. Usually it's a 2-inch border, sometimes it's 4 inches. But anyway, you got to divide your plate into 4 sections. You got a fruit section, which is carbs, 2. You got a grain section, you got a protein section, and you got a vegetable section. Now what they've done recently now, this is really outdated, what they've done recently now is they've taken away the fruit section and made it all vegetables. So you got protein, you got some kind of starch, and then you got all vegetables. So that's really how they do it. So the trick is when you're out and about and you can't measure your food, supposedly the palm of your hand would be about 4 ounces of protein, and then when you make a fist, that would be your vegetables, okay, and then your carbs. It should only be your size of your thumb, basically. So you really have to. That's the way to do the short way if you're out and about and you don't want. Okay, let me get my calculators. How much I can really eat of this stuff. So basically they're telling you to, like, if you have a big salad for lunch, you can fill your whole plate up. If it's just lettuce and tomatoes and cucumbers, and you got to have the low carb salad dressing, which I told you a couple of days ago, or a week ago now, that Aldi's, or Aldi's, whatever, how you pronounce it, has a very tasty vinaigrette and an Italian one that has no carbs, which is, great. So, and it's pretty healthy. It's got, all the health gurus would really say it's okay because it's made with, most of them is made with extra virgin olive oil, and so it's really good. So, and it does taste good. Now, they're also telling you to reduce your salt. Now, some people, they have a heart condition and the doctor will tell you to reduce your salt. I buy the salt, like sea salt, and I buy another pink salt and stuff like that. So we don't use iodine salt. So, we've lowered our salt intake because we both have a heart condition. So basically, if you want to lower your salt, you can. You can season things with herbs and lemon juice, and just reduce the salt. And if you don't have a problem with your heart, it's up to you and your doctor, really. Limit fast food. That was the biggest thing for me. We did go out to Long John's because we were out and about food shopping at the Earth store, and Long John's store was across the way, and Richard we hadn't had any of that in like 6 years, so we stopped and we had some, and we could feel it. I could feel it, and I think Richard did. You could actually feel your arteries going, because everything's deep fried, even to those great hush puppies. So you gotta be careful of fast food. You can order a lot of Wendy's. I know does this. I don't know if the rest of them do it. You can get a bunless hamburger, and what they'll do is they'll put it in between 2 pieces of lettuce, and then it's the same as the hamburger that you would get, but instead of being on a bun, it's in between 2 pieces of lettuce. Your mind thinks it's hamburger, so it doesn't really change the texture or anything. And then I think McDonald's does it. Don't quote me, but there's what they call a special menu, and you can order. You just say, please give me the hamburger. Like McDonald's will give you the hamburger in a dish. And before COVID, they would give you a side of the lettuce and everything they put on it, so it would be in a dish with the hamburger, so you could eat it that way. I don't know what Burger King does. They probably do too. These fast food places are changing because of people eating healthier. So, I know Wendy's does for a fact do that. So, that's your best bet. Wendy's chicken, the grilled chicken at Wendy's is very low in calories and serving size. It's very good. But get it without the bun. Get it with 2 pieces of lettuce. Okay, they will accommodate you. A lot of places don't have salads anymore because of COVID. I think they're coming back with it. So check with your if you're going out and you're with the grandkids or whatever, or you're with kids and they want to go to McDonald's, and you say, no, we can't. Yes, you can, but you got to order sensibly. Like their grilled chicken salad at Wendy's is really good because they put avocados in it and stuff. So it's a little expensive, but you know, it's kind of worth it because it helps you. It helps your waistline and it helps your blood sugar. So, you know, and it also, we should be active. You know, we should exercise at least. They're saying at least 3 times a week. If you exercise twice a week, it's good because, you know, like even if you get 2 cans and you do this, if you're in a wheelchair or walker or whatever, you know, when the commercials are on when you're watching TV, get 2 cans and do this, do leg lifts, you know. But they're saying at least 3 days being active. I know everybody has aches and pains, so, you know, we should do the best we can. Because the old saying is, if you don't use it, you lose it. So, you know, just check your blood sugar before you exercise and after you exercise because, you know, if you got low blood sugar before you start exercising, it might lower your blood sugar even more, and then you end up in the hospital. Wear comfortable shoes when you're exercising. Like if you decide to go walking, make sure your shoes are comfortable. Because your feet are very important when you're diabetic because you may not feel your feet. They may be numb and they're not really numb. It's a tingling sensation. It's constantly like you're getting stung by little bees or you got sitting on a bunch of thumbtacks on your feet. It's painful, but you may not. I have to tell you the story. A friend of mine in my diabetic support group, he told this story and it was just like hard. He had no feelings in his feet. I know what they call it, but I can't, you know, recall it right now. Anyway, he put his shoes on and his toes all curled under. Now he was going on a business trip, so he was flying from Florida to Chicago. And he wasn't going to get into his hotel until about 8, 9 o'clock at night because he had to have a meeting. Then he was going to dinner with some people, you know, blah, blah, blah. So he couldn't understand why these toes felt so tight, like his shoes were tight. So when he got in the motel that night, he took off his shoes and lo and behold, his toes were curled under. He had to go to the emergency room because he couldn't get them back up. Okay, so that's what I'm saying. Just be careful of your feet. Your feet are very, very important when you're diabetic, and you want to make sure, you know, get the toenails cut. Go to the foot doctor, get your toenails cut. Your insurance will pay for your toenails to be cut every 10 weeks. He will clean them for you. He will check in between the toes. He will check to see if you got any sores on the bottom of your feet. And wear enclosed shoes. I know we're in Florida and you like to wear your sandals, but if you wear sandals, please, please, please be careful of your feet because your feet are very important. My biggest fear is that I would have a toe amputated and then they say within 5 years you have another one and so on and so on. So I am deathly afraid of my feet. I constantly, if I can't look at them, I have Richard, my brother, look at them, or I go to the foot doctor every 10 weeks. He cuts my toenails and he really goes over them, you know, and he's a really good guy. He says, you know, Patti, if you have any problems, like if you step on something, because I had stepped on something in the kitchen, he said, if you step on anything and you feel like it's blistering up, please, he said, please, please, please call us. We'll get you in and we'll check it out. Because if you get a sore, as a diabetic, it will take a longer time to heal. It takes a long time to heal. So your feet are very important with diabetes. So please get nice, comfortable shoes. I mean, let's face it, we all spend a lot on our feet, you know, shoes-wise. You know, maybe we don't, I mean, I was shocked that sandals are like $30, $40 now, you know. So, you know, what's another $50 to buy a good pair of shoes? And socks. Socks are very important. I had someone tell me, oh, you got to get diabetic socks. They're the greatest thing. I say, no, I got good socks. They're okay. Well, I finally bought a pair of socks about 5 years ago with diabetic, you know, they were diabetic socks. Well, let me tell you, they got a nice, the bottom where the sole goes in, or your bottom of your foot goes in, your heel and everything. It is like cotton. When I tell you, I don't know what they put in it, it's like cotton. And your toes, you know how you get that little stitching up on the toes with regular socks? There's no stitching there because your foot goes in and sometimes it gets jammed in there and then you got a problem. So there's no stitching there, and they are the most comfortable socks you could purchase. And the Mariana Market has a guy that sells them, and they're really reasonable. So, you know, you're up that way, go, you know, if you're Floridian here, you'll find somebody that sells them reasonable. On the internet, they do sell them reasonable. The stores around here, Walmart and everybody, they get a lot for those socks. They get like, for one pair, maybe two pairs, $5 or $6, whatever it is. I found them to be expensive, in my opinion. Take your medicine. Try to take your medicine every day at the same time. Whatever it is, metformin, glucoside, whatever you take, make sure you take it at the same time all the time. Now, if you're having problems, if you're taking metformin, you find out you're having muscle cramps in your legs, please discuss it with your doctor. I had been on metformin for 14 years, and I have developed muscle cramps, like I was getting Charlie horses. And I discussed it with my doctor, and she said, oh, well, it might not be metformin. Let's just try it again. So I had it, and I said to her, I'm not taking it no more. I said, I read it on the internet that metformin does affect your legs, the muscles in your legs. So if you're getting leg cramps, please don't stop it. Just discuss it with your doctor. They'll put you on something else, like Juvia or something else. So please make sure you discuss it with your doctor. I'm on insulin now, so I have to make sure I take my insulin before I eat and so on. So whenever the doctor tells you to take it, if it's in the morning, whatever, please do take it. Insulin has to be kept in the refrigerator. So I bought myself, it's over there on the bar, I bought myself a little, it's only about 10 inches big, and it holds 2 ice packs in it, and it holds 2 pens, and it has pockets for the needles and all that. So I take that when I go to church on Sunday night or Wednesday night because we have a dinner, and it really does help my assistant saying it to me. And I got this at Amazon. It's got a little handle, and inside it has, for the ice, there's one here, and there's one on this side. I only put one in, but you know, whatever you want to do if you're going on a long trip. For your insulin or your pen or your syringes, a pocket for your insulin if you're taking insulin with the vial, okay? And then I put my needles here, and I put my swabs here, my alcohol swabs. And it keeps it very cold. By the time I get home, the insulin is still cold. I bought this, like I said, at Amazon for $18.99. You know, so it's a good thing to have, because I was taking my insulin without being refrigerated, or I was taking this big lunch bag for insulin. This is excellent for insulin. You know, so you do have to keep insulin chill, okay? So make sure if you're on insulin, make sure you do that. Now, how we treat high and low blood sugars. Like I said before, high sugars, you want to flush it out. So you want to drink plenty of non-sugar liquid, like water. Water is the best thing. That's what you drink. You drink water, or if you can drink tea without sugar, that's the best thing. Green tea, whatever. If you got to flush that high sugars out, okay? So anything, you know, they're saying anything over 200 is high. So you got to flush it out with anything that you can drink liquid. If you take an insulin, take an extra thing of insulin or medicine, but please call the doctor first, and they will give you instructions on how to do that. Check your blood sugar every 4 hours. This thing, that's why I got this. This is life-saving, because when my blood sugars, it actually goes ding, ding, ding. It makes a sound. So I know then to either look at this and say, I got low blood sugar or high blood sugar and how to treat it. So this is, your life is well worth, if you have it. No insurance company will pay for it. So it's kind of like, you might be able to call Liberty and they might give you a coupon, or they might say, okay, we can fund so much of it. We'll pay half, you pay half or something. I'm trying to get Liberty to do something for me, but we'll see how that goes. If it gets worse, if your symptoms get worse or your high blood sugars get worse, or, please call 911 or have someone call 911 for you, because it's only a matter of seconds that you could go into a diabetic coma and then you get major problems. So please do that. Treating low blood sugars, anything under 70, which is considered low blood sugar. What you got to do is you got to eat or drink 15 grams of carbs. Either those little pills, we're going to have a visitor real soon. Either those little pills, you take 1 or 2 of them. Hey there, Opie boy, you're still on my show, kid. You had one today. So, you take them, you test your blood sugar every 15 minutes, and then for me, the best thing that works for me is orange juice. That'll shoot blood sugars up, a couple of grams. So basically what you want to do is find something that shoots your sugar up. So when you have low sugar, and keep it in the house, and like I said, please keep that little 2-ounce icing in your house and tell somebody where it is, because by that point you might be not aware or passed out. So you have to be, really, okay? And we went over our feet. Just make sure you can get a mirror, make sure you check your feet. They sell in the auto parts store those collapsible, the ones that are on a 6-foot extension for underneath the car. Buy that. I don't know how much they are, and check your feet. If you live alone, check your feet. That's very important. Look, check for cracks, dry skin. Dry skin is the #1 symptoms for diabetes. You have dry skin, please get checked. Make sure if you feel numbness, burning, coldness, burning sensation on your feet, please note that and see your doctor. And the reason I say get a mirror and check your feet is we're looking for blisters, corns, calluses, stuff like that, and wounds that won't heal. Say you step on something, say you got a sandal on and you step on something, and you don't realize it until after, you're, and make sure when you clean your feet, dry between your toes real good. When I could, I used to dry them with a hair dryer, because that's where fungus grows, because it's nice and dark and warm. So you got to really keep your feet is #1. Really, it's really there's a lot of things that can happen to your feet. And we want everybody to be healthy. I hope this was. I went over a little bit. It's 48 minutes, but I hope this was helpful. And I hope that, it helped a lot. And if you have some ways that you do treat your diabetes, please put it in the comments and we'll share it. Because basically people with diabetes, we have to share our knowledge, because if we just, like I said before, you are the master of your body. You have to know what's going on in your body so you can tell your doctor. And if you don't get the right answer from your doctor, go see another doctor. Go see, whatever. But you have to know what's wrong with your body nowadays, My mom, when she was alive, she used to make a joke. You take the cat and dog to the vet. They never asked what was wrong with the dog or cat. They checked the cat and dog over real good. And they would come back and tell you what's wrong with your pet. And nowadays, when I was growing up, we used to have a doctor in town. Everything was settled with a shot of penicillin, Whatever was wrong with you, come here, I'll give you a shot. And then you went back to school the next 2 days later. I mean, I get really frustrated with going to my primary care doctor. Then she sends me to a specialist, this specialist, that specialist, da, da, da. And before you know it, for the month, you know, it seems like they all roll around the same time. So for the month of June, I'm going to be traveling to about 6 different doctors. And why? Because your primary care doctor, for some reason, just doesn't, I don't know what, you know. But anyway, that's the way it is, and that's the way insurance companies like it, and I'm not going to get on my soapbox. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this Better Living with Patti. I hope that if you have any ideas for your diabetes, please share them with the rest of us. I'm always open for ideas. Also, be safe, be healthy. That's the number one thing, be healthy. Treat others like you want to be treated. And God bless you. I'm signing off. Thank you.